Hello and welcome to Upstack America's Oracle EBS Financials Functional Training. My name is Bob and I'm the lead senior consultant for Upstack America. And with me today I have Victor, who is also a senior consultant. And today we'll walk you through General Ledger Lesson 9. Victor, please walk us through. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Bob, for the introduction. Welcome to this Oracle Financials Functional Training lesson. Today, these are the concepts that I would like us to look at. We are going to look at the overarching topic of summary accounts, under which we are going to understand parent values and roll-up groups and summary account templates and how they all fit in under the topic of summary accounts. All right, let's get into it. So what are summary accounts? The best way to understand summary accounts is by understanding what they help us do. So summary accounts allow us to view total activity for a range of values instead of viewing one account at a time. So let us go to the system so that we can understand the problem that we are trying to solve. So log in as the responsibility that you're using for this training. And we are going to go to the inquiry menu and select account. You should be familiar with this window because you have already dealt with it. And this is where we check account balances. So let's see. Let's click here and do one account balance. So let's do Maskani developers. Let's check what's happening under the cash account. Let's pick one division, industrial plants. I know we have used that, and let's put default for everything else. So I believe that's what we have been doing for most of our journal entries. All right, and when we click this show balances here, we can be able to tell the PTD and the YTD balance for this particular account. So for this, there's been no activity for this month. So we can also change the period here. Let's go to January 2018. And let's show the balances for that. All right, so we had this PTD balance for the month of January and YTD. So you see how we usually check balances for accounts. Now, supposing that somebody wanted to check the account balance for this cash account for company 1, and they also wanted to check the account balance for the cash account for the second company that we have. So we can do this this way and change this to company 2. Okay. Don't know why we are getting an error. So let's try that again. Company 2 cash account, department, okay. Okay, so supposing that we have looked at the balance for the cash account for company 1, and we saw that we saw that this is the YTD. There's no activity for the period of April, and we tried to check the balance for. We tried to check the balance for company 2. And we couldn't pull up. We found an error, but that's because we had not used this combination before. So there was no valid account basically. But I entered a journal using this combination, so we should be able to see a balance now. Okay. Now, supposing you wanted to find the total cash. This is a cash account, right? That is held by both companies, or the total cash activity for both companies in the period of April. What would you do? You would have to check the balance for company 1 as we did, and then check the balance for company 2 as we have just done right now, and then add both of them together. Correct? So that's simple enough if you have 1 company, 2 companies, or maybe 3 companies. But what if in your chart of accounts you have 50 companies? That's a lot of work, right? So you would like to be able to check the balances for both companies at the same time. All right. So that is what the concept of summary accounts does for us. It enables us to create maybe virtual accounts that we cannot enter activity against, but for inquiry purposes. All right. So now that we have seen the problem that we are trying to solve, let us go and see how we solve this problem. Go back to our. So we have said summary accounts will allow us to view the total activity for a range of values. This should probably say a range of accounts instead of one account at a time. So in order to create these summary accounts, what do we need to do? First, we need to create parent values. Then we need to create roll-up groups. After we create roll-up groups, we need to create summary account templates, and then the summary account templates will be used by the system to generate summary accounts against which we can check the summary balances that we want to check. Let's go to our first topic, which is parent values. So, as we have said, all this that we are doing is in the eventual or the ultimate goal is to create summary account templates against which will be created summary account balances. So parent values, they help in doing this, and we can only use parent values for inquiries and not for posting purposes. So you cannot enter a journal line using a parent value. But before we even say that, what is a parent value? This is a diagrammatic representation of what a parent value looks like. So you use a parent value to put 1, 2 or more values. You can even have 1 at some point in time, but you use a parent value to put 1 or more of the values in your value sets under this one parent value. So maybe for our company, we will create a parent value, and we can call it. We can call the parent value Maskani Real Estate. All right, and our 2 companies will belong to that one parent value. You can create parent values for other chart of account segments too. So if you want to have all your asset accounts. If you want to be able to do inquiries against all your asset accounts, you put them in one parent value, under one parent value, and then that parent value ultimately will be put in a roll-up group, which can be used to create summary accounts. Okay. So I believe the best way of understanding this topic is by doing it. So how do we create parent values? We just go to our value sets, create the new value. You designate this value as a parent value, and then you define the child ranges. So the values which will fall under this parent value are defined as child values. So let's go to Oracle. Let's close that. Our navigation, something you should know by now: setup, financials, flex field, key values. So let's start with our company segment, where we are going to create a parent value under which two companies are going to fall. So let's use the value set to look for it. Should be Maskani Group Company. So this is our value set. We are going to enter a new value here. Remember, this value also has to meet the properties for our value set, so it cannot exceed 3 characters, but we can use letters instead of numbers, I believe. That's how we set up our value set. So because these two companies are involved in like the real estate business, let's put them under one parent value called Maskani Real Estate. Just call it MRE. So Maskani Real Estate. All right. How do you indicate to Oracle that this is a parent value? Under this second tab here, values, hierarchy, and qualifiers, you have this box over here where you can designate any one of these as a parent value. So let's indicate that that is a parent value. However, Oracle still doesn't know, because we have shown that this is the relationship between a parent value and its child values. Oracle still doesn't know what the child values are. So how do you tell Oracle that? Come down here and define child ranges. So first, let's save that, what we have done so far, and then select this button down here, define child ranges. And here is where you tell Oracle what child values are going to be under this parent value. All right. So there's a list here, and we want to put Maskani Developers and Maskani Property Management under this parent value. So we can, because these ones fall in one continuous range, we can say from 01 to 02 instead of each in its own line. But if the companies you are trying to put under this parent value do not fall into one range, then you can use the multiple lines here to define your ranges. So let's just do one line, going from 01 to 02, and let's save our work. All right. We can go ahead and put a group of asset accounts under one parent value. So here Let's look for the account. All right. So we know that all our asset accounts, they fall under the range of 1,000, between the range of 1,000 and 1,000 and between 1,000 and 2,000. That's how we are going to deal with our asset accounts, right? So you can see the first one here is cash. Then we have fixed assets, maybe under which we are going to have other accounts. So this is a made-up company that we are using for this tutorial. And so what we do here to classify the accounts as parents or child accounts is not necessarily what every company is going to do. So we are going to try and simplify it as much as possible for the tutorial. So we are going to do the same thing, create a new value. Let's call it all assets, AA, or let's call it total assets. And the description will be total assets. We are already under this tab, so we're going to put this as a parent value. Now, because this is under the account value set, we have more qualifiers here. So, like we said, parent values are not used for entering journal lines or other maybe transaction functions in Oracle. So the right thing to do would be to say for these qualifiers, allow budgeting, allow posting, to put them as no. But because even if you leave them like this, you really still can't use them for those purposes. But the right way to do it would be to say no for that and no for that too. And you can qualify this as the right account type for these assets. And select OK. You can save our work. We still have to define our child ranges, right? So as we have said, all our asset accounts, they fall between 1,000 and 2,000, and let's say 1,001, 999. So we're going to do that as the first one. And the last value, we're going to say 0199. Then save our work. So what does this mean? Even if we do not have values that fall up to as far as 1999, any value that we enter that falls between this range. Suppose we enter a new company that's a new natural account value that's 001998. It's going to be automatically added to this range. Okay. All right. So we have done that. Save our work. Oracle is compiling. Let's go back to our slides. All right. Before we go to the next topic, let's take a quick break. So let's look at the topic of roll-up groups. So what are roll-up groups? Roll-up groups are basically the parents of parent values. So parent values are put under roll-up groups. And after we create roll-up groups is only when we can create summary account templates, because summary accounts are created at the roll-up group level. Okay, and just like the parent values, roll-up groups are only used for inquiries and cannot be used for transactional purposes. Let's say like entering journal lines. So now let's see the relationship between child values, parent values, and roll-up groups. So this is one example. Remember what the reason we are doing this, the purpose we're doing all this setup is to allow the company for which we are setting this up to do inquiries at various levels that they would like to do inquiries. So let's assume that this enterprise has 4 companies instead of the 2 that we are dealing with in implementation. Now, company 1 and company 2, maybe they are related companies in one way or another, the type of business. Maybe like for us, we have Maskani developers and Maskani property managers who do real estate. And let's assume there's another 2 companies. Maybe they do stuff such as design and architecture, and all of them are under one enterprise. But these 2 design companies are more related than compared to these 2. So we put these 2 companies under one parent value, and we put these 2 companies under another parent value. So if this enterprise wants to do inquiries at the enterprise level, what do? You put these 2 parent values under one roll-up group. Okay, in that way, the enterprise would be able to look at account balances at the enterprise level. So if they want to look at the cash account for the whole enterprise, then they can do it using this setup, the way this setup has been done. We can have another scenario where the same enterprise, they want to do inquiries at another level. So maybe they want to do inquiries just for these 2 real estate companies, and then they want to do inquiries again for these 2 design companies. So as a consultant, what are you supposed to do to enable them to meet this need? You put these 2 companies, the real estate companies, under one parent value, and then you put them under their own roll-up group. Okay, and then you put these 2 design companies under one parent value, and then you put them under their own roll-up group. Why are we doing this? Because we said summary accounts are only created at the roll-up group level. You cannot create summary accounts just using the parent values. All right. So if this company, if this same enterprise wanted to have this to, they want to look at balances for these 2 companies separately and balances for these 2 companies separately, and they still want to look at the balances for the whole enterprise. Then what is the solution to that? And we have said that balances, summary account balances, can only be created at the roll-up group level. So it means you would have to do this, and finally you would have to do this. So you would put these two parent values under their own parent value, which would make them the child values, and then you would put this parent value that you have created under a roll-up group. All right, does that make sense? So using this relationship where this parent value 1 and this parent value 2 are these two, which become now like child values, then you put them under a parent value, and then you put that parent value under another roll-up group like that. Using this, you will be able to achieve this, and this. So this enterprise will be able to check balances at the enterprise level. They will be able to check balances for company 1 and company 2 combined, and they will be able to check balances for company 3 and company 4 combined. So for this company, the total setup that you would do would be this plus this. Okay. Now you can create create roll-up groups also for other segments, such as the natural account, and we are going to do that right now. So let's go to Oracle. So to create roll-up groups, the navigation is set up, financials, flex field, key, down here, groups. What value set do you want to do roll-up groups for? Let's start with our company. So when we create the roll-up group, it will be for this value set. So we are going to create them per value set or per segment. So we can just give our roll-up group the same name as the parent value. I think that makes sense. So we're going to do MRE, Maskani Real Estate. So Maskani Real Estate. And when you're doing an actual implementation, these are all codes and names that should make sense to the company. So that's the only one that we want to do for this particular value set. All right. So let's save that. So we have created the roll-up group, but remember the relationship. Remember the relationship. Oracle still doesn't know what parent value and consequently what child values lie under this roll-up group. Okay. All right. So to do this, or let's first create all the roll-up groups, both for the company and for the natural account. Then we'll go and see how we define what parent values fall under the roll-up groups. So let's come here. and select account. There are no roll-up groups here, so we only have we are going to do this lesson with just one roll-up group and let's call it the same as the parent value. So total assets. That's the description. Total assets, and let's save. All right. So how do we let Oracle know the parent values that fall under that roll-up group? So we go to our value sets, financials, flex fields, key. Let's first check the Mascani company. Now, when you come to this tab under values, hierarchy, and qualifiers, you will see that for this Mascani real estate parent value, this box here that says under the group column is activated. Values can be entered there. Why? Because we have indicated that this is a parent value. So only a parent value can be assigned to a roll-up group, right? So when you click this list there, it automatically brings up the roll-up group that we created, the Mascani real estate, because it's the only roll-up group that's available for this value set. Remember, we are entering roll-up groups per value set or per segment. All right. So we have said that that's the roll-up group that this parent value belongs to. All right. We can save that. This view hierarchies button here can show you the relationship from roll-up group to parent value to child values, right? So we have this Mascani real estate, and you can see that the children values that belong here are Mascani developers and Mascani property managers. And when you go to the lowest value, you get this error that you cannot navigate further down or further up. So that is just to show you what children values are under that parent value. Okay. So I don't know why this is doing this. Close that. Let's put our parent value in the natural account segment under the roll-up group. So it should be down here, total assets. You can see it's the only one for which this box has been activated, and that is the only roll-up group available for this value set. So let's save our work. All right. So let's go to our slides. So what have we achieved so far? We have created parent values. We have described how they assist us in our ultimate goal, which is to generate summary accounts. We have created roll-up groups, and we have seen the relationship and the various ways that we can set up the roll-up groups in order to meet client needs, depending on what kind of summary balances they want to look at. So in the next lesson, we are going to discuss summary account templates and now complete with how they help us to generate summary account balances. So if Bob, unless you have something to say, that would be a good place to end our lesson today.
You're good. Thank you so much, Victor.
Thank you.